Let me know, and let's go ahead and check out this song from the Sixers. This one is called Everything I Owned. All right, I'm gonna just go ahead and read this so that way it computes in my brain as well. In 2014, Russia invaded Ukraine, changing the lives of many innocent children forever. These children were trapped in a nightmare that lasted a decade. They lost more than just their homes. They lost their childhood, their sense of security, their parents, and their lives. 2022 has brought a new wave of horror. The war has intensified, spreading its deadly grip over more people, more land, and more innocent lives. The laughter that filled Ukrainian playgrounds has been drowned out by the echo of rockets. Schools that should have been safe havens for learning and joy have become ruins. Every falling rocket steals from another child's future, leaving behind only memories and broken hearts. On July 8th, 2024, a terrorist missile struck the National Children's Specialized Hospital. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. A place of healing and hope turned into a scene of chaos and despair. The attack was not just on a building, but on the very essence of innocence. A cruel blow to those who have already suffered so much. The song is a tribute to the children who are living through this war and is dedicated to those who have lost their parents and those who live in constant fear of the next attack, and to the angels who were taken too soon. Oh my god. Okay. We're gonna jump right into it's real deep stuff, man. Just real deep stuff already. As somebody who has been there, not to Ukraine, but to the environment that more or less they're talking about, like a war-torn country. It's really kind of hard to put into words what's really happening there. And I feel like this little thing at the beginning here, this like the thing that they wrote, is actually just it paints the picture actually extremely well. The way that they described how, like, you know, where children should be laughing and playing and learning, it's not what's happening right now. And it's terrible. You think you can understand something until you see something with your own eyes. And you can feel something with, like, you know, by actually being there and really seeing it. And, you know, we point blame at people. We blame people for why it happens, and it's this person's fault, or if, you know, if this person was in charge, like these things would happen. And I think all that is just really just horse shit. The evil that, like, transpires in the world, like no one good man, no one good woman is going to stop that. And I think a lot of times when we think about war, we think about the people who are fighting in the war, like the actual soldiers and the actual people who are, you know, got the guns running down the streets and all that. And as much as it affects us, the ones who it affects, like, the worst are the ones who none of them were trained for it. Those kids, those civilians, those wives, those sisters, those brothers who are not involved, those aunts, those uncles, all those people who didn't sign up for this. They didn't ask for any of this. Like, they were just trying to live their lives. They were trying to go to school. They were trying to be happy kids. Trying to start a fucking rock band. You know what I mean? I can't imagine like what the this band in general, the Sixers have gone through. You know what I mean? They're incredibly brave and they're incredibly strong. Because like to see the things that they've seen, like I have a friend, I had a few friends actually, but one really close friend of mine from Bosnia, Croatia area that like lived through that in the 90s. You know what I mean? Before he came to America. And as much as he tries to act like he's not fucked up from it, he is. You know what I mean? Like, it hardens you, man. It makes you look at life differently. It makes you like have less empathy on people because you can't feel attached to people. Like you have trouble doing those things. And like even myself, like I had that happen to me, like for so much of my life where I feel like I couldn't really ever trust anybody. You know what I mean? I couldn't really give like my full self to anybody. I couldn't risk that factor. You know what I mean? No one could know enough about me, or they couldn't even. I didn't want to know too much about them because I didn't want to get too attached. And I just feel so much for these just innocent people, like these kids. Like I said, the Sixers, man, they're all still kids. They've been kids for forever. They've been talking about how this is going on since 2014. Do you believe the United States of America's news when they tell you that it all happened at X date because X president did X, Y, Z? Why don't you ask the people who were there when it really happened? When it really started? That's not the narrative you hear today. That's not what you hear. First thing they said was in 2014 this started. They were there for it. They're talking about it. Their lives have been different for the last, was almost 10 fucking years. Over 10 fucking years. This has been going on. It's only gotten worse in the last couple years. It didn't start a couple years ago. It's just gotten worse and more attention recently. We haven't even touched this song yet. We haven't even gotten to it yet. I just, like I said, I feel for this band. I feel for the Ukrainian people. I feel for the Russian people. Like, they're not all of them are bad either. You know what I mean? Like, there's not every single Russian's a piece of shit. You know what I mean? That's another brainwashed thing that we've been told to believe our whole lives, that if you're just from X country, you're terrible, and that's not the case either. If that was the case, nobody would like America, because the way that everybody thinks about us, nobody would like us. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think at the end of the day, humanity is what's going to save us. You know what I mean? Greed is always going to tear us apart, and wars are only for those purposes. It's because somebody wants something that they don't have, and they're going to find a way to get it. And that's really what it boils down to. It's never really for like the altruistic, righteous reasons, no matter how you spin it. All right, let me check this chat, make sure nobody's popped in here. Freeze and Fall hops up in the middle and be talking about war. Like, that'd be fucking awesome. Oh, man. All right, what do I got? What do I got in this chat here? Are your Discord notifications off today? Maybe. I changed the times. I don't think I turned off the Discord one. I think I just changed the times where they should be longer now. So, lots of agreement in chat. Johnny Why can't folks just talk things out rather than destroying? Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? It's violence is never the option, man. You know, I was that guy. I was that guy once upon a time, man. I was ingrained in bred to bleed a tough man. You know what I mean? That was not necessarily my father's upbringing, but the upbringing of the environment I was around was, you know, that you can't be soft. You have to be tough. You have to like get money, fuck bitches, essentially. You know what I mean? Like that was just the overall mentality is fuck everybody else and get your shit. And I'm like, I was raised to be that. The military only encourages that behavior. You know what I mean? And then they send you out there and tell you that you're, you know, protecting freedom and all that. And then you come back and everybody tells you, like, you know, like I said, I've said this story a few times that, you know, you leave with a parade and you come back with them throwing eggs at you and calling you a baby murderer. I'm like, you know, what happened to the parade that I left with? I thought I was serving my country, but I guess that changed somewhere in the last year, but whatever. People are terrible, and not all soldiers are bad people. Just like anything, you know, there's always bad apples in every group, and the few they'll try to use the example of a few to ruin the many. Insert any example possible, and that's what's happening. Elsie, I don't think I've said hi to you. How are you doing today, my friend? There are plenty of regular people who aren't the stereotype. Yep, absolutely. And that's where we just got to try to help where we can. You know what I mean? It doesn't change. Like I said, no one person is ever going to change anything. You know what I mean? If we could, then Ren would have changed the world by now. But it's bigger than one person. It's more of a movement and an ideology, I think, just more than anything, where just try to move with love and respect instead of hate and anger. I think it's just kind of as simple as that. Sorry to throw one that triggered your memories right off the bat. No worries at all, man. Like, I knew we were going to get into this with the Sixers. I just didn't know when we were going to trip over it. You know what I mean? And I think today's the great day to talk about it. You know, I didn't start balling up and start just losing my mind. You know what I mean? So no need to apologize at all. If it was that heavy, I would have moved on from it. You know what I mean? I'm glad you brought this one. I'm glad you suggested this one. I know there's a few recent ones I've been trying to kind of look for, but I don't think they have them available on their YouTube yet. So haven't been able to do some reactions, so I'm trying to hold off on even listening to it until I can hear it, so that way it is for the first time. It's shit how we treat our military in the West. Yeah, we could do so much better, man. We could, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a vet. I know a lot of you guys are vets out here too. You guys feel me on that. Where I think the general population all agrees on that, but yet for some reason our government doesn't make any moves on it. I wonder why that is. I just wonder why that is, guys. Why does the entire country agree on something and nothing happens? You know what I mean? It's not a hot. You're too busy arguing about the smoke screens they want you to argue about. That's, I think, really at the end of the day, what it boils down to is they're too busy throwing out these stupid stories that are going to get people excited about something instead of actually talking about real problems. But let's get into it. Let's check the song out. We talked enough about war. Let's hear them sing about it, and maybe they're going to make me cry.
I feel the pain. It's all about my hands, through what we've come and what he left. And I'm hurt, my hands are bleeding, the pain won't stop, 'cause my body is ruined. Just yesterday we sang alone, just yesterday the death was not familiar spot. And yesterday I had the whole world, and then I lost everything I owned. I'm just a little child, all I want is to live my
this is exactly as moving as I thought it was going to be. The Sixers never really let me down when it comes to just the way that they capture their music and the way that they do that through the visuals with the music videos. They always find a way to make the simplest concepts like still just draw you into what's happening. Like, we just got done talking and reading about, like, you know, basically like about being the child and being stripped away from your youth and, like, you know, just having all that innocence just kind of like just like shoved in your face of showing you how fucked up the world is, like, so fast. You know what I mean? Like, we talked a lot about this before on different live streams where the idea of like our parents letting us just roam the neighborhood and coming on when the lights came on, that was like something that we all pretty much lived through. If you lived from X year backwards, that's what we all kind of experienced. Now, there's no fucking way that anybody would ever do that. So we're so busy trying to protect our kids from the cruelty of the world for as long as possible that, like, think about, like, you know, my son just turned 13 the other day, a few weeks ago. And that kid is so sheltered and innocent right now. He has no idea how fucking fucked up the world is. Does that make sense? But it's a good thing. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't need to know how bad it is right now. But what about the kids in Ukraine? Those 6-year-olds, those 2-year-olds, those 5-year-olds, those 8-year-olds, those 9-year-olds, those 13-year-olds, they're all, none of them deserve this shit. But they have the reality check of that. The reality check of, like, it doesn't matter what mom and dad want for me. These people have come in and stolen my life away. Like, their whole lives are changed now. They're never going to be the same. They're all going to be fucked up from this. Like, you know, like, all I wanted was I was supposed to be a child. I was supposed to be a child, and now that's gone. All these kids have had to, like, grow up uber fast because we've had to instantaneously make them adults because they have to face the realities of the world of how fucked up it is and how shit like this happens. And sometimes people get affected by this. And the whole world's watching. We all know about it, but it's not affecting us today. And it's not affecting you on your way to your job. And it's not affecting you on your way to your grocery store. And it's not affecting you on your way to go vote, you know, tomorrow, or if you already did, whatever. All those different things, because that's what we have, the blessing in America, or the blessing of the idea of safety. That there's so many more things at stake in the world as to that bigger than just whether or not trans people are pissed off that you called them a sir. You know what I mean? That's the dumbest fucking thing in the world, that everybody has an opinion about trans people when 90% of them have never met one, don't even know one, probably haven't even seen one in their own hometown. But yet everybody in America has an opinion about that. But, you know, shit's going on in other countries that's majorly affecting the global economy and other things like this, where millions and millions and millions of people are being affected by this. Not just 15,000 people that they make out to seem like it's 15 million. Now I'm getting all over the place. Now I'm getting over political. I gotta stop, yo. I gotta stop. I'm over here talking about trans stuff, and I am a supporter of peace and love, man. Peace and love. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck who you are. I think that your life is your life, and as long as you're not hurting anybody else, that's your business. That's it. It's your life. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's bigger. There's so many more problems in the world today than the things that we argue about with our friends and our colleagues and all that kinds of shit. A million people ask me the dumbest questions when there's so many things that are going on in the entire world, even, like, you know, just that we're involved in. Not really, but indirectly. I'm sorry for getting a little wound up, guys. War tends to do that to me. You know what I mean? A lot of times people ask me, like, you know, what my political affiliation is and stuff like that. And like I said, I worked in a job where I knew that we lied to the public. How am I supposed to believe anybody? But I know for a fact that we lied. But it's necessary. Some things are necessary, and people are never going to understand that. And I feel like we're so busy just trying to find what we don't agree on and the differences that we have with each other. But I don't like that. I don't like what you said there. I don't like your opinion on that. I don't agree with that. We're too busy trying to find what makes us different to realize that we have so many more things in common. You know what I mean? We all have a lot of the same struggles, same family struggles, same relationship struggles, same job struggles, same housing struggles, same, not enough money to pay your bills, not enough money to buy groceries. Like, we all have like a lot of the same problems. But because we look a little differently, your problems are less important than mine are. I think all of our problems are important. We're all people, man. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, if you want to equate it to the Bible and all that, it says man over beast, yo. We are the man. We are human. We are what's most important on this planet. Now, you should save the animals, though. Don't get it twisted. That doesn't mean that I also am against hunting and all that. Like, don't twist my words on that either. You should do all that stuff. I'm all for all that kinds of stuff. But, humans are the most important people on the planet, but we don't treat each other like we are. We are in a constant state of tearing each other down. Because I don't like that you said that. I don't agree with that. You know what I mean? We're also divided now. Because, like I said, we're getting ready to go into an election that's happening, like, basically, like, as we kind of speak in America. And we are so divided, and we look at people and judge them based on who we think they are voting for. Not who we know, who we think they're voting for. It's funny that every time I go to vote, the same people ignore me and the same people greet me, not having a clue of who the fuck I am. But they assume every time. And I hate that. I hate assumptions. I've said that a million times on here, that I don't like to assume things about people. That stereotypes are there for a reason, but it doesn't mean they're concrete. And it doesn't mean that they're okay. Does that make sense? At the same time either. Some things are common. That's what makes them stereotypes. But it's not all stereotypes are bad, if that makes sense. I think I said that correctly. I think there's a different word other than stereotypes that I can't think of right now, that it's like the bad one. But I can't remember. Oh, we got a celebrity in the house. We got Bell Development. I see the exclamation points. What's going on, Jesse? Thanks for stopping and getting me off of American politics. I was going all over the place, man. This song, we're talking about war here. We're talking about war in Ukraine. This song's got me a little all over the place. So I appreciate you for breaking me up. I hope I didn't lose any fans here tonight. I hope you guys all still rock with me. I hope you all still love me after a while, everything I just said. Do the Russians love their children too? Sting. Yeah, that's my point exactly. Do those people not care about their children and want the best for their children? Just because they were raised in a different environment and have different social standards and just ways of looking at the world. Like I said, every country is different and every group of people is different. And it doesn't mean they're wrong because it's different than yours. Get wound up if you need to, Johnny. Oh, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys for just letting me be me. It's always nice to just be accepted for, who you are. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm all about here on this channel. Pixie reminded me last night that I need to start saying that more. That that the Johnny Foxtrot Show is here to represent representation. In general, equality for everybody. Like I said, the humans are the greatest species on this planet. Turtles, tigers, cats, bats, bears, all that shit. Really fucking badass though. But humans are the best, and we gotta treat each other better than we treat everybody else. You know what I mean? But definitely save those turtles. Stop throwing your straws in the oceans, guys. Stop doing that, people. That's been completely debunked, by the way, so it's just a joke. So I do know that's been completely debunked. It was completely, not really like that. Terry, I see you again. Hey, Terry. Oh, yep. Basically, Jesse just saying hi to everybody. Johnny, we are here for the real you. I appreciate that, Elsie. Like I said, you guys are so supportive, and I appreciate that. So, I feel like I got it off my chest. I feel like I said what I needed to say, and I don't feel like I need to really add too much more to it. But man, like when I go to post this one later, guys, like this is gonna be like the 45-minute reaction, to this Sixter song. But yeah, it's good. Like I said, I forget what was her name. What was her name? Heather. Heather last night, she picked the song that necessarily wasn't really like my overall like sonically sounding my bag of tea, but she got me to talk about something for like 15 minutes. So I would consider that a win. If you got me to talk for like 15 minutes about something, that's a pretty good reaction, I think.
Like water circles, people disappear. Will I survive eternal fear? I know that even face to face, I won't let take them my perfect grace. I'm just a little child. All I want is to live my life. I'm just a little child. All I want is to live my life alone. Well, I say clear sky.
Excuse me, guys. Sorry.
We all die alone. We all die alone.
Oh, don't talk to me like this now, girl.
We all die alone.
Okay, let's pause. Let's shout out Monster Energy for the tear break. We're not gonna crack the tears today, guys. It's not gonna happen. No matter how much we try, it's not gonna happen today. Shout out to Monster. They don't pay me to say this. I'm not a greedy man. Just a case a month, please. Fueled by Monster. Love your product. I'm not ready for her to go like this emo on me. For like this, like talking about how like your youth is just stolen from you. She got the eye makeup rolling down. She's got the bunny. And I think I mentioned this before that like, that was my thing. I didn't have like the little teddy. I had the little bunny. I got the teddy later. I still had the bunny. It's not as big as that one though. That one's all fluffy and stuff, but the fact that she's holding the bunny, the eye makeup is like dripping. She looks like her whole world just came crashing down and she's been living on the streets now. She looks exactly like what she's supposed to look like in this video. And now she's getting into that emo bag, talking about how we come into this world alone and we die alone. This one definitely makes you think, man. It definitely makes you think.
We all die alone. We all die alone. And we all die I'm just a little child. All I want is to live my life. I'm just a little child. All I want is to live my life alone. Will I see clear sky?
Oh boy, that I feel like this is like the song that like when you guys talk about the warning, and they talk about breathe and when I'm alone, about how like they just don't play that song a lot. This would be the song that I would imagine that they're not going to play at every show. It just doesn't have that kind of vibe to be the one to play at the live show. this is, I feel like you break that one out when the time is right and you make it a moment, because that one was definitely, I feel like, just like the overall, for what I know of this band and for what I have heard of them, this song, I feel like, encapsulates the idea of like everything that they've been through and like what their band journey has kind of been through, like the fact that they have been so in and out of like members since the start, and that a lot of that has to do with like, you know, families moving to new countries and moving separate locations where they're just not able to be on this journey together anymore. And the fact that, again, the fact that they're still minors and they're still basically under the care of their families that way, in a lot of time, and in most cases, the fact that, to me, initially, I think about like the idea of like the band is the future, right? Is like, you know, it's more important to keep the kid with the band. But at the same time, as that parent, I can understand where today that doesn't make any money. And today we need to take care of our family and we need to go create a new life for ourselves. So like I said, the fact that they're minors adds that element to that, so that they're not only are they losing what they started with, but they're still like going through the process of like they're still being torn apart from that. The war is still having those ultimate effects on just their overall band. Like the fact that they really don't have the chance to kind of start making some progression because they haven't really had like a solid unit for a while. You know what I mean? Their solid unit has only been for so long. So it's, like I said, I feel for this band. I don't care if people unsubscribe from me from doing reactions to the Sixers. I like this band. It probably has a lot to do with the fact that, like, I don't know. I guess it maybe just my history with my time in the military and just like what they've been through, and just kind of having the understanding of kind of somewhat what these kids have gone through. I think just makes me feel for them that much more. But yes, thank you, Aaron, for getting me on a good little 30-minute reaction here with the Sixers. You know, I gotta start doing them. I gotta just start recording them all from the live streams. I give like 45-minute reactions on, on live streams. Man, people get their money's worth for sure. If anybody wants to ever do like a tip one, like, you know, in the future down the line and all that kinds of stuff, like you get your money's worth on on a Johnny Foxtrot live stream reaction. That's for damn sure.